Hello card fighters. Today I'm bringing you a little more budgety upgradable deck for Gear Chronicles that everybody kind of knows from A Legend Lost. Bringing you a deck profile on Interdimensional Dragon Knight Lost Legend. So before we get into it, I'm going to go over the normal stuff, the grade 1s, the grade 0s, and all the fancy in between stuff. So without further ado, our starter will be Primordial Draco Kid. The reason why you might want to run this deck, by the way, is if you guys know that Gear Chronicle can be the most expensive deck on the face of the earth sometimes. So for the people that actually started off with Lost Legend as their starting deck, and where it was kind of more affordable and cheap to build, congratulations. You actually have the least amount of new stuff to actually pick up. So you kind of win for a deck that can be very rogue, but very powerful at the same time. So, before anything else, remember that the starters now have the errata where if your opponent rid first, you actually get a quick guard shield when you ride on your first turn. So, with that, Draco Kid is your starter. So, I'm going to bring Draco Kid over here. Then we'll talk about our grade 1 selection. So, you have a choice between Wedgemood Dragon or this card. So, Bearing Revolver. So, he has the same move skill as Wedge Move, as it being as when this unit attack hits, discard a card from your hand and draw a card. So, this is on Vanguard only, and when it discarded for the cost, or it gets counted as a grade 3. So you could choose between the one you have the art for, and you know, there's not much you can do with it differently. You could definitely run how you see fit. I run them at 2 because with the abilities you have and the upgraded version you're at, you can definitely see a lot of advantage play. Next, we run 3 Quickie Worker. She is when placed, put a card from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck. If you put a grade 3 or greater, Soul Blast 2, draw a card. So, with that, you kind of gain card advantage. You always run her because being able to put back the grade 4s you need that you might have had to discard for the cost to be able to get a grade 4 is very important. Next, the major update towards the deck is our Steam Breath Dragon. Because it's usually expensive, this is probably the only most expensive card you're going to be buying from the NextStage for this deck's upgrade. So Steam Breath Dragon has the ability during your turn, if you discard a card from your hand this turn, gains plus 5,000. So when placed from your hand, look at the top 5 cards from your deck to reveal up to 1 grade 3 from among them and add it to your hand. If you added a card, discard a card. But you can always choose to whiff it and just shuffle your deck. Next, we're going to go on to the grade 2s. We're going to be running the normal lineup. First off, we have Lost Break Dragon at a playset. So when placed from hand, bind a card from your hand, draw a card. So basically your filter card, gaining all attributes you need, everything like that. During your turn, if your bind zone has a face-up card, this unit gets plus 3,000. So since he automatically places something, it's amazingly strong. Next, we run 4 Steam Maiden Ishubi. At the end of the battle, this unit attack. If your hand has 3 or less cards, counterblast, retire this unit, draw 2 cards. To just be able to help you regain after going into Mystery Flare Dragon's ability on the following turn, just to help you recoup for what you've lost, is very powerful and ridiculous. And being able to do it even early just to filter more is fantastic. Next, we have Steam Maiden Reporter Album. Again, I'm sorry if I butcher these names, but when it intercepts, bind a card from your hand, and one of your units cannot be hit until the end of battle. So we have an intercepting PG, basically. So your opponent either has to take it out, just to guarantee that it dies, or they just let it live. The other nice thing about it, it is a 10k base paired to Shadow Paladin's 5k interceptor, but that's fine. Next, let's talk about our Lost Legend hero. So his journey was to find Chronojet. So that's why I also run Bearing Revolver, just because it is a Chronojet in the past. It looks like a Chronojet, so at least his mission was successful. So discard a card. You can ride a grade 4 from your deck onto this as stand. Shuffle your deck. At the end of the turn, retire that unit and ride a grade 3 from Soul as rest. So basically, gaining your gift markers, at least you only need to ride it once. That's fine. And when rode upon, counterblast 2 to draw a card. Always remember to counterblast 2 to draw a card, because drawing a card will make or break situations. Next, let's talk about the reason why this deck actually can now is able to compete even slighter. It has appeared once or twice, even topped in a Vision tournament. Is for this deck's reason is 4 Revolver Winged Dragons. So we'll blast 1, bind 2 of your rear guards, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, call 2 of those among them, and then bind a card. So this is very powerful, ridiculously strong, because you can bind 2 grade 2s. Now that's 4, and then you got a grade 3 in your hand with it. Boom. Now you are at 7. Kind of immediately. So that's very powerful, just because this card can just do what it needs to do to get you to the requirement for Mystery Flare Dragon. So again, now you have multiple targets for Steam Breath Dragon to be able to grab, because if you already have Lost Legend in your hand, you just go for Wing Dragon just to speed up your bind. It also has a gift, so if you have to ride him for a turn and then go on to our Lost Legend, still very powerful play. Next is our grade 4 lineup. Pretty much your first ride for your grade 4 stride. So when placed, look at the top card of your deck, call it to rear. That's fine. That's an okay skill. The other skill though is retire rearguard, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3, call it to rear, shuffle your deck, and that unit gets plus 5,000. What you're going to be doing is calling him to rear, because being able to do this and combo off is fantastic, because you can actually bind him. If I read the wording, it doesn't say bind 2 other rear guards. You can bind him and his effect still goes off. So you could get to pretty quickly to where you need to be right away. So with that, we go on to the boss stride. You like taking turns? Well, he likes taking turns. So when placed, all of the effects below are activated according to the number of grades face up in your bind zone. So 3 or more, this unit gets 1 drive check. 7 or more, this unit gets a critical. 13 or more to 6 of your units, they get plus 1,000k. Boom. Done. Then if it's 19 or more, at the end of the turn, discard your whole entire hand. And that's where, you know, she comes in play that I mentioned before. Is you get an additional turn, and you can't ride that next turn. So it'll bring you back to the grade 3, but you restand and in another turn of swings. So if you can do this right, you could take turns on your opponent almost twice in a game, or 3 times, depending on what you've bound and what has happened. Next, we're going to talk about the trigger lineup. So, of course, with a deck like this, since you have to discard your whole hand, you want to be able to hit your draw PGs when you need them to add to your hand. We run 8 crit, because crits are very important. And then the best heal of the game is our Uru. So with this deck, it is probably the most budgetist upgrade to do, since you probably already have most of this if you're a Gear Chronicle fan. If you don't, I feel sorry for you, and you guys should have bought most of this upgraded, all this stuff beforehand. But seeing as there's not much expensive cards besides Lost Legend, Mystery Flare, and Steam Breath, this deck is probably the cheapest out of them all. So with that, guys, remember to smash that like button to make it so that everyone thinks this is good content. And please, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. It really helps a long way, and I'll catch you in the next one.